Hello, welcome to another weekly update. Bit of a different one this week for me, because coming to you from North Carolina. So, I'm going to say sorry right at the outset for the quality of like the audio, the connection, all the things. But should be good. We'll get there in the end. It'll be fine. If the live stream's really choppy, don't forget the audio is recorded locally, as is the video, and so it will be on YouTube and it will be on the podcast thing as well. I'm not going to do any screen sharing this week because I'm just on my laptop. So anyway, it's lovely here. It's lovely and sunny. It's nice and warm. Like right now, it's a little bit chilly, but it's first thing in the morning. Anyway, let's talk about what's new this week. So a couple of things. First of all, a update to the Teams Toolkit. And this is kind of interesting because it really exposes some of the samples. And one of the cool things, about working with Microsoft Tech is there's always a ton of samples. One of the challenging things is that it can be really hard to find those samples sometimes when you need them. And so this hopefully will help that by giving you somewhere in Teams Toolkit to search for samples. It's a nice kind of search box right within Teams Toolkit that allows you to find sample applications and get going with them. So that's new. There's a couple of other things as well around just kind of improvements to the CLI experience as well. But I'll put the link for this. If you're watching the live stream, the link for this goes in the comments, like in the description, after I've finished the recording. Kind of the way it works. But yeah, if you're listening to the podcast, then you'll just get it from the show notes. So that's interesting and worth checking out if you use Teams Toolkit at all. So yeah, go check that out. There's a new version and it makes it much easier to find samples. There is yet another blog post about why you should build messaging extensions and how you can build them for Microsoft Teams and Copilot. I think I'm going to stop kind of talking about these because there have been so many. This is another one from Microsoft on the DevBlogs blog, just kind of promoting the fact that you can build messaging extensions and they will work with Copilot as that kind of connection for Copilot, using Copilot, sort of opening up Copilot, if you like, to access your data and your services. Now, I've talked about this quite a lot before, the various different ways in which you can work with Copilot. This is one of them. Like I said, probably not going to talk about it that much anymore. We've been over this ground already. But yeah, there's another blog post if you want more information, again, on why you should build messaging extensions and how those messaging extensions can work with Copilot. All right, what else? There's another blog post out around the retirement of some SharePoint file service version stuff. Now, this is separate to some of the retirements I talked about last week around Exchange. Really does feel like Microsoft are kind of getting their house in order and just kind of sweeping out all the corners and the dusty edges, the dusty back rooms, and finding out all those things that are maybe not supported anymore or were never supported, and they're just kind of going around tidying up. Maybe it's a cost-saving thing. Like, it honestly feels like they're going through, I'm sure it's more complicated inside Microsoft than just having an Azure subscription, but it feels like they're going through every resource group and like, do we need this anymore? Do we need this anymore? Which is the thing, if you run Azure and manage Azure, you'll know about, right? That kind of tidying up housekeeping thing of making sure that the services you're paying for are still needed. Anyway, this feels like one of those. There's a whole set of file services stuff. They're not on Graph. They're old SharePoint file access ones. I don't think they're ever really documented. So they're kind of technically not supported, but just be aware that Microsoft, they must be being used. Otherwise Microsoft would not be putting out this blog post, right? So Microsoft know they're being used, even though they're not documented and not supported. This blog post is telling you, for each, and there's 3 different ones. I'm not going to kind of read them out. Well, like I say, links will be later. But for each one of these, there's a place in Graph that gets the same information. So you can go and find it. And so they're calling these out and saying, look, they're not going to work after April 2024. So they're going through this process of kind of signaling that they're going to turn off some of these things as they kind of sort out kind of the back ends and all the rest of it. And this is kind of like a housekeeping exercise. All right. So that is happening and is new and interesting. Other interesting things that are happening. There's just one more thing to tell you about actually. Which is something I just saw in the Microsoft 365 roadmap, which I do not know an awful lot about, but I will tell you what I know, which is enhanced third-party app purchase experience in Teams and Teams App Center. Okay, so we already, as you know, have the ability in Teams to find apps and install apps. That got improved a little bit where those apps got surfaced in more Office products as well. Then we've had a couple of other things along the way that help. We've had better coach marks for like where apps can be installed inside Teams. We've had the ability for some apps to be automatically installed, and now we're seeing this, which is it's titled an enhanced third-party app purchase experience. I don't know what that is. There's no information. I don't know. It's for third-party apps. It's not for it says specifically for third-party app purchases. So it might just be that purchase experience that's being improved rather than the kind of finding and doing. I don't know. I think we're just going to have to wait and find out. But if you have a Microsoft Teams app, and especially if it's a purchasable one, if you have a purchasable manifest and you do that through Partner Center, then keep an eye on this, because it sounds like it's changing, but it sounds like it's being enhanced, which must be better, right? So that's all good. All right, I think that is everything that is going on this week. Feels like it, so I think that's probably true. Hope you're having a good week, whatever it is you're doing, and I will see you all again next time.